In previous installments, I have dealt with several different kinds of specific apologetics. There is, however, another kind of rationalization for or against faith, which often goes unchallenged. It can be found in arguments made from either side. This argument technique is known as the trichotomy, or trilemma. A trilemma, a word coined by Josh McDowell in his book Evidence Which Demands a Verdict, is more imposing than the standard dilemma, because it offers more issues to consider. If something is either black or white, even if the sides seem equally plausible, it is possible to choose sides and argue one position against the other. However, where more than two possibilities exist, which side one is defending can become muddled. There are two well-known trilemmas in the argument between the Christian faithful and those who have rejected that faith. One, the pro-faith argument, is C.S. Lewis's Lord, Liar, or Lunatic proposition from his book Mere Christianity, and was the argument that the word trilemma was coined to first describe. More on that soon. The other, the opposition to faith argument, is the oft-quoted Epicurius proposition about God and evil. Either God wants to abolish evil and cannot, or he can but does not want to, or he cannot and does not want to. If he wants to but cannot, he is impotent. If he can but does not want to, he is wicked. But if God both can and wants to abolish evil, then why does evil exist in the world? The fact is that theologians do have a somewhat convoluted rationale to explain this trilemma. Or, they claim, offering a fourth option, he can abolish evil but has a good reason not to. Evil, they submit, is a test. Were there no evil in the world, there would be no challenge in our lives. Existence without challenges is utopian, and utopia would be life without meaning, since the meaning of life is to come to know God on our own. Therefore, God allows evil to exist so that we might overcome it and come to know him. The problem is that this does not really solve the trilemma, but merely presents a new dilemma. Does faith, despite proof of God's love, prove one's love for God, or does love for God, despite adversity, prove one's faith? The other trilemma I've mentioned is C.S. Lewis's claim that a man who was merely a man and said the sort of things Jesus said would not be a great moral teacher. He would either be a lunatic on a level of the man who says he is a poached egg, or else he would be the devil of hell. You must make your choice. Either this man was and is the Son of God, or else a madman, or something worse. This has been reduced to the alliterative paraphraseology Lord, Lunatic, or Liar. However, again, there is a fourth option, legend. The legend option suggests that perhaps the claims attributed to Jesus were not his own. If Jesus did in fact exist, it is entirely possible that it was the embellishment of his disciples, specifically Paul of Tarsus, that he had claimed to be God made flesh. Perhaps he was, as many have speculated, the entirely mortal leader of a small Jewish sect who had ambitions and goals far beyond those of his contemporaries. Or perhaps he was a Zionist, or a reformist, or a spiritualist, whose ideas were so far above what his followers were able to fully comprehend that his true message was lost in their attempts to spread it. Or perhaps he actually was a liar or a lunatic. Lewis also submits that if Jesus claimed to be God but was not, his teachings are suspect. I disagree. After all, Martin Luther King and John Kennedy both had the good message, and neither was without fault. Jesus could have made the claim that he was God simply because he so strongly believed in the Beatitudes that he wanted to assure that people would listen. True, this would not be the most honorable way to present a message, but that would be an ad hominem indictment of the man, not an indictment of what he had to say. The thing is that for whatever reason, when an argument is broken down into a trichotomy, it seems to take on a special significance. This human predisposition to accept things presented in thirds is long established, from the Hindu and Egyptian mythos triumvirates, to the Christian Trinity, to the U.S. government. Dividing things into three separate but equal powers seems to engender them with more authority. This is simply not always true with apologetic arguments. When presenting an argument that a thing is either this, that, or the other, one only has to determine if there is not a fourth option to disprove the trichotomy. If you hear a buzzing at night, either it is a mosquito, your alarm clock, or tinnitus. But what if it's my neighbor's electric razor? As always, I end with a quote. Today's quote is from Friedrich Nietzsche. A casual stroll through the lunatic asylum shows that faith does not prove anything. Thank you.